Take a look at these, ladies and gentlemen. 2 Lucas Oil Jet dragsters. Yes, I said Jet. The fearless Mr. Tom Bogner here. Tom, great to see you. As always, fill me in on what the heck we're looking at.
All right, what you're looking at is a dragster just a bit shorter than like a Top Fuel or an A Fuel car, with a Pratt & Whitney J60 jet engine with an afterburner. So normally being like a Sky Crane helicopter, we modify these and put an afterburner on it. And with an afterburner, it's about 6,000 pounds of thrust, which will propel the car about 300 miles an hour in 5.4, 5.3 seconds, depending on the altitude we're running at.
That's amazing. You just put on one heck of a show. Fans love these things. They're incredibly popular. Look at how long this thing is. If you could somehow describe what it's like to be in the driver's seat on this thing, well, could you put it into words?
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what, it's like Wile E. Coyote. I mean, it's like sit in a dragster, put a big air compressed tank in it, overfill the tank, and then have somebody just bust the nozzle end off and let you go. Because that's what it feels like. It's thrust driven, and it just propels you and sets you back. Normally when this car runs on a good run, it's about 222 in the 8th.
Wow. What's your job like in here in the cockpit?
Everything's hand controls in here. So my throttle's here. This would be my afterburner. I'll bring it up to the starting line. I'll stage it. I'll arm my bleed doors. I'll go to smoke. You'll see a bunch of smoke. That's what we call loading the pipe. And then I'll anticipate the tree and go on green. Normally this thing just rocks it, but we've got a gremlin in it right now, and hopefully tomorrow Tony can figure it out. I've been driving this car 6 years. I've never had this kind of problem. So but it is a race car.
The drag racers will appreciate that. Even the jet car guys can run into gremlins, right?
Everything. I don't care what kind of car it is. You know, I'd pull my Mustang motor and put it out, but I hurt that last week. So you know, what do you do?
Let's take a look at this afterburner back here real quick. This thing's amazing. You got to tell me a little bit more about this.
So basically, from here back is all modified with an afterburner. This would be our afterburner can. So we have 3 stages of fuel on this car, and basically we run about 120 psi of pressure to our afterburner, and it just consumes about 20 gallons of fuel in 5 seconds.
20 gallons of fuel in 5 seconds. Yeah. That makes for an expensive race day, doesn't it?
But the beauty of it is we're running diesel fuel, so it's not that expensive. And relative to the top fuel guys that are paying up to $2,000 for a drum of fuel. So with both cars, we do go through a lot of fuel, but it's relatively inexpensive on the fuel cost. Just time consuming to fill it up.
Sure. What would you say is the most difficult part of keeping one of these programs going?
You know what, the most difficult part really is that we're here to entertain, so we need to get these cars down the track every time. So I'm just a bit frustrated right now because, you know, Lucas all over these cars, we have TV, Protect the Harvest, and we got a show in, but not what we want. So it's like anything else. You got to worry about the car, but as a driver, we got to do everything right in the cockpit. So you know what, we'll figure it out. Tomorrow they'll probably end up changing the burner pump, because that was one thing changed on the car before we came up here, and we checked all the electrical, everything's fine. So you know what, it's a race car. Tomorrow they'll fix it. Hopefully Tony and Tony Jr. will run tomorrow, and I'll be cheering for him.
Very cool. Now you have such a great job here. You work with a lot of race teams with Lucas Oil. How cool is that, or how much respect does that give you that you're actually out here doing it, getting it done? You're just not a liaison.
I like it. I mean, I've worked for Lucas for 14 years, and I work with racers from Bonneville. You know, I have racers that are my age in their mid-50s that race lawnmowers. You know, that's their dream. So this was always my dream to go fast. So being able to connect with the racers that I sponsor, and going speeds, you know, much faster than even some of them, and understanding what it's like to get up in the morning, get to the track, get cars out, have problems with the cars, and get the cars down the track, back home, and then ready for work on Monday.
You gotta love it, man. Tom, well, thanks a lot. We appreciate this tour. Can't wait to see you run again, and stay safe in this thing. You're a little nuts. I gotta say, a little nuts.
I'll be thinking of you when you ride your Hayabusa home tonight.
I'm a little nuts too, but
39 degrees.
well, not as nuts as you though. Maybe if you rode in front of me with this jet, you could keep me warm.
There you go. Just get your hot dog out and we'll cook it for you. Some marshmallows.
There you go, Tom. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Jack.
Guys, hope you enjoyed a close look at the Lucas Oil Jet Dragster. It is awesome.